Welcome back to Neo and Jiho, Part 53. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any updates. Jiho hopped into his car and headed straight to the hospital. His mom had been absent for 30 years, and he didn't want to waste a single moment this morning. For the first time since he met Neo, he found himself reflecting on his life. Sitting there in the driver's seat, he prayed for guidance on how to love all three incredible women in his life. There was his fragile mother, his wife, his heartbeat Neo, and the woman who had shaped him into who he is today, his grandmother. Plus, he was about to welcome twins into the world. Tears of happiness rolled down his cheeks as he smiled. He turned on the car engine, cranked up his favorite tunes, and set off for the hospital. The soft light of morning spilled through the wide hospital windows, painting pale gold across the sterile white walls. For the first time in days, the room no longer felt like a prison of fear. The steady beeping of machines had softened into a gentle rhythm, like a reminder that life, fragile though it was, had chosen to remain. On the bed, Jiho's mother, Bora, sat propped upright against a mound of pillows. She looked fragile, her face thinner than he remembered, but her eyes were clearer, more awake, and filled with something Jiho had thought he might never see again: hope. Jiho sat close, his posture protective. His hand never left hers, fingers lightly tracing her skin as though afraid she might vanish if he loosened his grip. The door opened softly. Dr. Sophie Lee stepped inside, her tailored white coat trailing behind her. She was calm, composed, her eyes sharp with focus, yet softened by compassion. She didn't send in junior staff. She came herself, the weight of this moment too important to entrust to anyone else. "Jiho," she said, her voice both professional and warm, "your mother is ready to go home." His eyes flicked back to the doctor, his tone careful. "Is it really safe now?" "Yes," Sophie confirmed, laying a folder on the side table. "But there are precautions. She'll need to continue this medication for at least 1 month. It will ease any internal discomfort. If the pain sharpens, she must not hesitate to take it." He nodded firmly, his jaw tightening with determination. "I'll make sure she follows every word." With that, she stepped out, leaving behind silence thick with relief. Bora turned her gaze to her son, her lips trembling into a faint smile. "Jiho, I didn't think I'd ever hear those words again." He brushed a strand of hair from her forehead, his touch reverent. "You will hear more, Mama. From now on, only words of life." When the quiet settled again, Jiho reached into his jacket and carefully withdrew a folded piece of paper. His eyes lowered, his tone quiet but steady. "Mama, I went to see grandmother this morning." Bora's eyes widened slightly. She straightened, her hands trembling faintly as he placed the paper into them. "She wrote this for you," Jiho added softly. He didn't elaborate. He didn't explain what his grandmother had said or what secrets she carried. Out of respect for both women, he only gave her the note. Bora unfolded the paper slowly, her breath quickening. The handwriting was unmistakable. These were not ordinary words, but coded lines, symbols that Jiho could not understand. But Bora understood instantly. Her lips quivered, her eyes filling with tears. She pressed the paper against her chest, closing her eyes. The silence stretched until her voice broke softly, raw and aching. "My son, thank you. Thank you for growing into a boy filled with love despite everything. I am so sorry for almost leaving you. The pain blinded me. I thought there was no hope left." Jiho leaned forward, clasping her hands firmly, his voice trembling but strong. "Mama, for the last time, don't apologize. I don't need explanations. I don't need you to justify anything. I will love you exactly as you are, with every scar, every choice, every silence. You are my mother, and I accept you completely." Her tears spilled freely as she collapsed against him, hugging him with surprising strength. "Then I will hold on to your love, Jiho. I will let it heal me." He kissed her hair softly, eyes shut against the storm of emotion in his chest. "That's all I want, Mama. That's all." Minutes passed, but they didn't measure them. They sat in silence, broken only by the sound of their breathing. Finally, Bora whispered, "Jiho, you've grown into a man I don't deserve. You're stronger than I ever imagined." Jiho shook his head. tightening his grip on her hand. Mama, don't ever say that. You're my mother. Whatever you've done, wherever you've been, you're still the one who gave me life. That's enough for me. Her lips curved into a fragile smile. Then I will thank God for you every day. He pressed her hand to his chest. His heart beat fast beneath her fingers, steady and alive. And I'll thank him for giving me another chance to love you. Tell me, Jiho, how did I end up here? Jiho took a deep breath. It was Taiho, Mama. He saved you. And King Jihoon, too. Without them, I would have lost you forever. Her eyes widened. Tears shimmered again, but this time they were tears of gratitude. Then I must thank them both. Taiho gave me a second life. And the king, he gave me another chance. Yes, Jiho nodded solemnly. Because of them, I discovered you again. Because of them, you're here. Her lips trembled into a whisper. May God bless them both. Jiho squeezed her hand gently. He already has, Mama. Through you. Jiho's expression turned more serious as he shifted slightly closer to his mother. His voice carried the gentleness of a son, but the firmness of a man who had thought long and hard about what must come next. Mama, he began softly, yesterday I went to your house. Bora's eyes lowered, guilt flashing across her face. Her hands twisted together in her lap as though she was bracing for a rebuke. Jiho reached out, laying his hand over hers, steadying her trembling fingers. I saw everything. The medicines, the pictures, the letters. I know how much you carried inside those walls. But I don't want you to go back there. Her gaze snapped up, startled. Jiho! He shook his head, his tone unwavering. No, Mama, that house is full of memories, yes, but also of pain. I cannot watch you walk back into that place as though nothing happened. I don't wish for you to live where despair almost claimed you. Bora's lips trembled, her voice low and hesitant. But where would I go? Jiho, I don't want to intrude into your life. You are a grown man now. You have your wife, your family, your world. I cannot come and disturb that balance. Jiho's face softened, but his words were resolute. Mama, listen to me. You are not intruding. You are my mother. You belong in my life, not outside it. I have villas, many of them. Some for vacations, some barely lived in. I have prepared one near where we live. It's quiet, peaceful, and safe. That's where I want you to stay. She shook her head slightly, overwhelmed. Jiho, I don't deserve... Before she could finish, Jiho tightened his grip on her hand, his voice rising with emotion. You deserve everything, Mama. More than I can ever give. Do you not see? This is not about property or space. It is about us, about finally starting over, about you and me building what we never had the chance to before. His words carried a weight that silenced her protests. She blinked, and tears spilled down her cheeks as she whispered, starting over. Yes, Jiho said firmly. We are going to know each other again. We are going to love each other again. From the beginning. This time, nothing will stand between us. For a long moment, Bora simply stared at her son. His eyes were so full of determination, yet filled with compassion. She had always known he was loving. She had seen that love in the way he treated others, in the way his heart shone even through hardship. But sitting here now, hearing these words, she realized she had underestimated the depth of that love. Her body quivered under the weight of his promise. She pressed her hands to her face, unable to contain the tears that fell freely. Jiho, my son. Her voice broke, and she leaned into him, sobbing softly. I am overwhelmed. I don't know what I did to deserve such love from you. The discharge was swift. Jiho stepped forward to his mother. He wrapped his arms around her gently, mindful of her still fragile body, and held her close. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. It was not the silence of emptiness, but of hearts speaking louder than words. Bora leaned her head lightly against her son's chest, her eyes moist with gratitude. When at last Jiho drew back, he did not release her entirely. Instead, he clasped her hand firmly in his, their fingers interlacing as though they had never been apart. Come, he said softly, his deep voice filled with quiet determination. Let's go home. Step by step, Jiho guided her through the wide, polished hospital corridors. Staff and patients glanced at them with fleeting curiosity, yet to Jiho, the world blurred. All that mattered was the woman walking beside him, alive, safe, and beginning again. Bora glanced up at him as they moved, her lips curving into a tender smile. The tension of days past seemed to melt with every step. Outside, the cool morning air met them. Jiho helped his mother inside, making sure she was comfortable before taking his place beside her. The city rolled past the windows, but Jiho barely noticed. His gaze was on his mother, studying her with the care of a son who had almost lost her. Their first stop was the modest house where Bora had lived in quiet solitude. When they stepped inside, the air carried the faint scent of old books and lavender. The rooms were neat, almost too neat, as though tidiness had been a substitute for company. Jiho walked with her from room to room as she collected a few cherished belongings, photographs, letters, a scarf she had knitted long ago. He held each item for her, carrying them as though they were treasures, while Bora moved slowly, her eyes lingering on corners filled with memories. At last they returned to the car. Bora's belongings were placed neatly in the trunk, and Jiho once more helped her into her seat. As the vehicle glided toward one of his family's villas, she turned to him, her voice soft but steady. As the car approached the villa, Jiho's heart swelled. For the first time in years, mother and son were not separated by silence, pain, or fear, but walking into a new chapter together. Jiho held the keys in his hand as he and his mother stepped into the grand villa. The wide glass doors opened silently, revealing a space filled with soft light, clean air, and the scent of newness. He turned to her, placing the keys gently into her hand. "This house is yours now, Mama," Jiho said, his voice calm but firm. "Everything inside is new. I want you to feel free here. If you need workers, helpers, drivers, anything at all, it will be provided for you. And if there are things you still need from your old home, we can always arrange for cars to go and collect them. Just tell me the day you're comfortable, and we'll make it happen." Bora looked around, her eyes widening at the sight of the sparkling floors, the elegant furniture, and the tall windows that let in the afternoon light. Her lips parted slightly as though she could hardly believe what she was seeing. "Jiho," she whispered, "all of this is yours?" He smiled, shaking his head. "No, it's not mine, it's ours. And this villa, Mama, this one is yours." Her heart swelled at his words. She could feel the love and kindness pouring out of her son, a love that made the heavy years of pain begin to fade. She laughed softly, almost shyly. "It's too much. This place is too big for me alone." As they walked further inside, Jiho's mother touched the furniture, the walls, the polished edges of the tables, her heart full of gratitude. She turned to her son. "You are too kind for this life, Jiho." He shook his head gently. "I only give back the love you gave me. Now I want you to rest here, to feel at peace." Then Jiho checked his watch and sighed softly. "Mama, I have some meetings today, but soon I will introduce you to my sweetheart, your daughter-in-law, Neo, and the rest of the family." His mother smiled, her eyes glowing with pride. "Congratulations, Jiho. Do you know I attended your wedding silently?" Jiho's eyes widened and he chuckled. "Yes, Taiho told me. I only wish I had known then. It would have meant so much." "She is very beautiful, your wife," Bora said. "I wish you both all the luck. And I saw you are expecting children. Tell me, what are you having?" Jiho's smile deepened. "A girl and a boy. Twins." His mother's eyes welled with tears as she hugged him tightly. "Congratulations again, my son. May God bless your marriage, and may he give you strength and joy." Jiho held her for a moment, then gently let go. "Rest now, Mama. This is your home." Leaving her to settle into the villa, Jiho stepped back into his car, his heart full of peace, as he drove away. Days had passed, and now was a Saturday morning. Jiho and Neo were making their way to Insu's place, getting there before his family arrived to meet Tumi. Tumi sat in front of the mirror. Her hands shook slightly as she held the small brush, and Neo gently took it from her. "Let me help you," Neo said with a smile. You look beautiful already, but I'll make it perfect. Tumi laughed nervously. I don't want to disappoint anyone. This is so important. Neo leaned closer, dabbing carefully. Tumi, you're not disappointing anyone. Insu chose you, and that says enough. You only need to be yourself. Behind them, on the terrace, Jiho and Insu sat with mugs of tea. Insu looked restless, his leg bouncing under the table. Jiho spoke calmly. Stop worrying. They'll come, they'll see her, and they'll understand. Your job is just to stand by her. Insu sighed. You don't know my aunt. She always judges quickly. She thinks Tumi is too young, too different. Jiho leaned forward. And what do you think? I think she's the woman I want to be with. I just don't want her heart broken. Jiho's voice was firm. Then don't let anyone break it. Families will always have opinions. What matters is what you stand for. Inside, Neo tied Tumi's hair back slightly and nodded. Perfect. You'll walk in with confidence. When they ask you questions, don't be afraid. Answer with honesty. They respect that. Tumi looked at her reflection. Neo, do you think they'll accept me? Neo placed her hands on Tumi's shoulders. Listen to me. You are strong, kind, and smart. You've cared for people your whole life. Anyone who sees your heart will accept you. And even if they don't, Insu does, and that's enough. Tumi smiled faintly. You sound like a sister. I am, Neo replied. At that moment, Jiho and Insu walked back inside. Jiho gave Tumi a nod. You look perfect. Thank you, Appa. Insu moved closer, his eyes softening when he saw her. You're ready. Neo gathered her things. We'll leave before they arrive, but remember, we're one call away if you need us. Tumi hugged her. Thank you, Neo. I don't know how I would manage without you. Neo whispered. You don't have to manage alone. You have family now. Jiho placed a hand on Insu's shoulder. Stay strong. Don't hide behind silence. If they question, answer with truth. Insu nodded. I will. Shortly after lunch, Jiho and Neo stood by the door. Neo gave Tumi a final encouraging look. Breathe, smile, and speak from your heart. Jiho added with a grin. And don't let Insu drink too much tea while waiting. They laughed, lightening the tension, and then Jiho and Neo left. Tumi exhaled deeply, her hand slipping into Insu's. It's just us now. Insu squeezed her hand. Yes, and that's enough.